We've now reached Act 4 of A Midsummer Night's Dream. Act 4 is the moment when the night ends and day comes. So it's the end of the night at the beginning of Scene 1 of Act 4, but most of the act is played after they hear the lark, the bird that sings in the morning. And we return to some kind of normal life. The characters have been falling asleep and waking up, dozing off, and waking, going back to sleep all through the night. But now they are awakened in turn. And this seems to be a permanent thing. They're getting up for the day, and they'll be awake until the very end of the play, which is another night, but a different night. That will be the start of the marriage. The weddings happen during this day, and then the celebration in Act 5, and the end is the night that starts its actual marriage and the rest of life. So they've arrived back at normal life here, and they then think of what's happened during the night as something they must have dreamed. But thinking of it as something that they must have dreamed doesn't settle how they respond to it, how they evaluate it, how they weigh it up, how they think about it. They put it to the normal test of dream. Am I the only one who remembers this? And it seems, no, they share this dream, so that gives it a certain reality. And the dream is ambiguous. You can simply dismiss a dream because that's not real life. It doesn't count. You can take it as something that is a special messenger and gives you clues about the future or the true meaning of things. You could reverse life and think that your dreams are your reality and that waking life is some kind of an illusion. Those are general possibilities. The four young lovers seem to feel their dreams so that it makes them doubt their reality. They come back to some workable version of normal life. The magic won't make tremendous disturbances in how they live, it seems, from here on. But the striking reality of the dreams, the events are so strange they can't quite be real, but the memories are common and the memories are so vivid that they can't simply be dismissed. So that makes them wonder if they're still dreaming and gives them some doubts about the reality of real life. And now, of course, that test can be applied to love too, that the experience of it is strange, makes one do odd things. Hermia and Lysander were willing to give up their entire city to the friends and family and everything familiar just to have one another. That's not normal and may not be reasonable. But Helena thought the whole world was just in one person, Demetrius. Was willing to go through great dangers simply to be around that person without ever really having any hope of being loved back. Then, of course, when she was loved back, she made a mess of that too. So that's all crazy behavior, more like what we do in dreams than what we do in real life. And the men may swear up and down trying to prove that something that cannot be proved is true. They make great boasts and great promises, all unrealistic behavior. And all of this we could dismiss as dreams, except that we all share in this memory, or at least most of us, or maybe only the lucky plurality of us share in these, but certainly it's common. So on the far side of an experience of strong love, you might find yourself like one of these lovers. So because you're on the far side. It's as though you woke up from a dream of unreality, but there are so many people around you who remember having very similar dreams that you can't simply dismiss it. And so it doesn't seem to be the general view of this play that dreams don't count, dreams are nothing. Theseus will articulate that at the beginning of the next reading, so that's a thing to pay attention to. Dreams are best dismissed in his mind, and if that's the way you approach life, then Shakespeare gives you very strong and beautiful and persuasive words to support your point of view. But that doesn't seem to be the overall view. And on the subject of dreams, perhaps the great speech of this play, a central moment, is what Bottom says after he wakes up. He's restored to just being an ordinary human being. He doesn't have the ass's head anymore, and he gives his account of insofar as he can, of what happened to him and what it means to him. And that's one of the high moments of the play that we'll have to look at. He's at the far extreme from Theseus. Theseus simply says, dreams aren't real, and therefore to believe them is a kind of insanity. Bottom seems ready to take his dream with him forward into life. It makes him something more than just an ordinary animal in human form, but just a more or less living an animal existence, having a regular job, and every day taking a step closer to death and being completely forgotten. Bottom's dream is something that gives his story a twist, so that it doesn't have to be that dull and frightful story. You're born, nothing much happens to you, you die, and you're forgotten. That's not Bottom's story. Because he's got his dream, which he keeps with him and cherishes as he moves forward into life. And it seems the young lovers have milder versions of that. Because the vividness, the reality, the liveliness, the believability of their dreams is, well, the dreams have all those qualities. Because they have those qualities, that they bring them into the rest of their life, and those lend liveliness to what we presume will just be normal lives that anyone will have. They'll become parents. They'll take their places in Athenian society. They'll grow up and they'll go on. Their attachment to each other will not seem like the central and the only thing in their lives, but will be mixed with other things. But they will remember the dream that it had, and it adds something to their lives, some leavening to make it lighter and higher. And that seems to give them some mark of being more than just dull creatures trapped here on earth, living toward bad ends.